Good morning and welcome again. It's always a pleasure to be with all of you here. You will continue to learn together the Torah, the Old Testament, which is Moses has given to the Jewish people on Mount Sinai. The most interesting thing about this for me is that I have learned so much, and if you are following, you have learned as much as I have, or you're keeping up with the learning. Because again, this is something that was given by God to the Jewish people to implement in their life in order to live in this world. We all know this world is a difficult place to be. It's very hard. There's suffering, there's challenges, and it's not easy. So today I want to say is that what's making me doing this particular part or section, this teaching is in regards to Artemis Mays. There was this woman that I was in love with, and we're together for a short period of time, and she was absolutely a wonderful individual, and pretty much that summarized it. And what made her so attractive to me was that she loved the Torah. She wanted to learn the Torah with me. But again, God takes people, and we left in confusion. We understand why this person died. Why did my child die? Why did my wife die? Why did my husband die? Why did my friend die? Why did my uncle or niece die? So we're asking these questions. And these questions are typically asked when people die early. If someone around their 70s and 80s, we don't really ask those questions why they died, because we expect them to die because we understand they're toward the end of life. That's part of the process. But it's when they die early, like 3 months old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 15, or even in childbirth, they die. So we have this question, why do these people die early? Why do they leave this world? And it leaves an impact on us because we don't understand what God is doing. We take death as some people as a form of punishment, as a form that God hates us, as a form that maybe, God is not paying attention, he's not running this world, that we did something, we deserve this. We have a lot of misconception or misunderstanding why people tend to die early in our lives, and especially the people that we love. How do we deal with that? And that was a problem for me. It still is. I'm still struggling with this issue as well, because this is fresh for me, because I've never felt this level of pain having someone that I love passed away. And again, this is I do these type of teaching to teach all of us to understand why. And once we have understanding why, it makes it easier for us to move on with our lives. But also I do this teaching to elevate Artemis May's soul, because when someone dies and it's fresh for 1 year, they're in the court of heaven and they're being judged. And when you do good deeds on their behalf, that elevates their soul to a higher level, because when you do it on their behalf in their name, what happened is that it's as if they were here doing it themselves. So by you doing these things for them, you sharing this video for people that you love that may have passed away, you are elevating their soul to the next level. Because why? It's helping other people change their lives. And because of you doing it on their behalf, it's as if they were here themselves doing it, and they get credit for that, what you are doing. So this is one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos as well, is to help elevate her to the next level. Also, of course, my parents, my mother, my aunts, they also passed away. My best friend, his father passed away. So I also do that for them as well, to help elevate their soul to the next level. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to share a story with you. There was this rabbi, meaning a male teacher in the Jewish world, and he became very holy man that, he was well known. And then his teacher came up to him. This older woman came up to him and introduced herself. And she introduced herself as that she was his kindergarten teacher, but he did not recognize her. So when he told her that, he was glad to see her. He was very grateful and thank her for it. And then a couple months later, she passed away. So what happened, he spent years praying for her soul. He was praying for her soul for years and years. And one day, listen to this is beautiful. She came into his dream and she told him, please, please stop praying. You keep elevating my soul. My soul keep going higher and higher and higher. And then I'm in a place now where I don't even understand what they're talking about, because my soul has been elevated so high, I'm lost. Can you imagine your loved one is being raised higher and higher, higher in the next world, and they come back to you to tell you, please stop praying because I'm so high now, I don't know what's going on up here. Because why? This is what happens. When you pray and you do good deeds on behalf of someone who passed away, who you love, this is what will happen to their soul. And this is one of the reasons too, as I said, Artronice Mays was awesome woman. I was really blessed to have had her for that short period of time in my life. And I had the chance to love and be loved and to experience what it means to be with your soulmate. Not many people will get that opportunity to find someone that you mesh so beautiful, that love and respect one another and understand and want to be, desire to be with you. You can't seem to think of anything else but them in your life and how they have improved your life by them coming into your life. And that's what she did for me. She had improved my life. And it was an experience, honestly, that cannot be expressed in words. It's something you have to live. And what I mean by that is this: no woman can explain to a man what it feels like to give birth. It's just not possible. You have to experience that yourself to understand it. And this is what I'm trying to say. This kind of love that I had for her and she had for me cannot really be explained. You have to experience it yourself for you to understand. And I had that opportunity to say that I actually met my soulmate. I got to love my soulmate and spend time with my soulmate. And I have that experience that I will keep with me forever as long as I'm in this world. And it will be my guiding light to understand what love, real love is, and how someone can truly love you in the way they treat you. And I thank her so much for that experience that she came into my life. And God truly blessed both of us because he allowed us to meet each other in this world. That's a great blessing. Even though it's for a short period of time, but he allowed us to meet each other here before we leave this world. How many people can say that they met their soulmate before they left this world? That's a very difficult thing. Most people can't even imagine what that means. But again, I was blessed to have had that. And then I will continue making these videos, teaching to help you understand what it is we're here for, why we are here. And today's topic is about, why do people die early? Why do they die early? What's the reason behind all that? And there are many, many reasons. And then when you hear them, it'll give you some idea and help give you a peace of mind. Now, one of the primary reasons that we are here is that we're here to fix something about ourselves. This is why we come into this world, to fix something about ourselves and to bring God back into this world, meaning to promote God, to show the world and teach the world about God. This is what I'm doing as well. This is part of my mission. Part of my mission is to teach you about God, why we are here, what our purpose is, what our mission is, and what are the rules that God has implemented into this world for us to follow. Every parent who is a good parent understand they have to have rules in their home to guide their children. This world is God's world, and we are his children. We are his creation, and he has rules for us to follow in order to live in this world. So one of the things that we don't like, we shy, that really is painful for us, is that someone that we love, we're afraid of death. We're afraid of our children might die, our spouse might die, our mother or father, uncle, someone that we love. We're afraid that they're going to leave this world. And of course, it's natural that parents die and leave their children behind. And we see it unnatural when the child died and the parents left behind. Hopefully this will help kind of clarify a few things, bring it a little more perspective to give you more at peace or at ease, to ease your tension or your stress or your pain over someone who you love have passed away, because it had helped me tremendously. If I did not know this, it would have been very difficult for me to deal with the loss of my soulmate, Artronice Mays. Beautiful woman, and I miss her. Every day I miss her. One of the reasons is that people die is because of sin. Because we hear, it says there's a bucket, and once the bucket reach full, because a person live a life without God, when you don't follow the rules, that means you're going to sin. That means everything you're doing pretty much outside of the rules is a sin. And when you reach a certain amount of level, or the bucket is filled, then God takes you away from this world. Because why? He doesn't want you to continue to sin. And why would God kill someone who's constantly sinning and sinning? Because one of the main reasons is that he doesn't want you to go to hell. So if he continue, imagine this for a minute. And the best example is this. Imagine that you have a child, right? And you know this child is sinning and sinning and sinning and sinning. And you know he's, what, let's say 30 years old. If he does another 10 more years of sinning, there's no way he's going to get into heaven. He's going to hell for eternity, burning eternity. And you know this as a parent. You know this. Now, and you know this child is not going to change. You know your son's not going to change, but you know absolutely he's going to burn forever in hell. Are you going to continue to live for 10 more years to burn in hell for eternity? Or you're going to be okay to take his life and now he doesn't have to go to hell and burn for eternity? Yes, he still have to pay the price for those sin, but he's not going to spend eternity in hell. And that's what God is doing for us, because he's preventing us, keeping us from going into hell for eternity. So sometimes he has to take us away from this world because we're not meeting our purpose while we are here. And if he allows us to continue to live and continue to sin, then he will have no choice but to send us to hell for eternity. So therefore, he takes us early, so that way we don't have to go to hell for eternity. Remember, this body is temporary. It's temporal. It ages, it gets old. Eventually, it will be useless to us, and then we can't continue anymore. You see? So therefore, we perceive death as a horrible thing when it's a kindness God is doing to us, because why? He does not want us to go to hell for eternity. So therefore, he takes us in this world early. The next one is to keep us from future suffering as well. Again, as I mentioned, the future suffering would be in hell for eternity, and God does that as a kindness, so that way we don't have to face that. Now, also, the next thing about why we die early is because God keeps us from committing more sin, and the more sin we have on our file, the more pain we're going to suffer when we leave here, because there's going to be judgment against us. There's going to be more judgment. And how did this come about? The way this came about is that when Adam and Eve were in the garden, what happened was that the snake entered us. Before the snake, the sin was outside, meaning that the snake and Eve were having a conversation like we're having one now. But the moment she ate from that fruit, the sin entered us. It became part of our flesh. It's part of us now. And one of the reasons for death is that every man has to die. And why every man has to die eventually? Because the sin is part of our DNA. So when we die, and when God comes, the Mashiach comes and he resurrects the body. Now the body no longer have that sin. That sin is stuck in the dirt. So now the soul that's inside that body that's been resurrected doesn't have the sin anymore in it. Now that soul can purify the body, make the body holy. Right now, the soul that's in you and me cannot purify the body, meaning that we can't remove the sin that's in us. It's part of us. We have to live with that. We struggle with it every day, not the sin. But once we die and we resurrect, that sin that was in us is no longer there. Now the body is able to purify the body and make the body clean, pure, where there is no more sin in the body. But how did it get there? At the beginning, sin was not inside of us. It's when Eve and Adam ate that fruit, that's when it entered our body. In order to remove it, to remove that fruit that they ate, we have to die, go into the ground, and then when we resurrect, that fruit remain in the ground now, and now we're back pure again before we ate that fruit. And now the soul can purify the body. That's the beauty of it. Now, another reason is that people die early is their mission. Their mission in life is over, meaning that whatever they were sent here to do, they have completed that mission. And God says, it's over. There's no need for you to continue to be in this world. What do I mean by that? Let's look at Moses. When Moses lived for a very long time, and God told Moses, it's time to come home. What he was telling Moses, it's time to die. And Moses said, no, God, I want to do more work. I want to remain behind. God says, your mission is over, Moses. I don't need you in this world anymore. Listen to what God says. I don't need you in this world anymore. Your job is completed. You did an excellent job. It's time to come home. So sometimes some people, again, I don't know which one it is, only God knows, their mission in life is over. God doesn't need them here anymore. So because it's not necessary to be in this world, because this is a world of suffering and pain. So God says, I'm going to take you away from this world. You accomplish your mission. Now it's time to come home to paradise, you see, to heaven. So God remove us from this test because our mission is over. Now, a beautiful example I can give you is for you to understand in more depth what it means. There is this woman that could not have a child. And then God came to this woman and says, listen, I have this holy soul. It's almost perfect. There's one thing left for him to do to become the perfect soul, but he's only going to live for 3 months. For 3 months. But I need a great parent to bring him into this world. And you have chose you to be that parent of this child. Are you willing to take this child for 3 months and I'm going to take him back after 3 months? But he's a perfect soul. All he's missing is one thing to fix. But he needs to come back into this world to fix that one thing. And after that one thing is fixed, I'm going to take him. But he's only going to be here for 3 months. And the lady says, Lord, you have chosen me? Absolutely. And she gave birth to this beautiful baby boy. And yes, the baby boy did live for 3 months and he died after 3 months because that was his tikkun. Tikkun means something that you have to come into this world to fix before you go to heaven. So he came back into this baby and he lived for 3 months and that was the parent. And then he died after 3 months and he went to heaven as a perfect being. You see, so there are many ways. This is just unlimited ways why we leave this world early. And this is what makes it so very difficult for a lot of us to really understand what death means. You know, again, we're here to fix us. Just like this baby, this perfect soul only had to be here for 3 months and then go to heaven. So again, this is not a permanent place for us. Yes, it's wonderful to have somebody with us while we're here. It is beautiful. And something my cousin said to me this morning, how beautiful it is to be in this world. You know, even though you suffer a great damage or you're suffering, but to have someone you love by your side, that's a beautiful thing. So again, I thank you all for sharing, and I'll see you next time. God bless. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.